Well, joining me here on the chancel now are three of our high school students, three of our students involved in the Your Call program. And while they're taking their place for a special presentation we're going to do, let me explain that Your Call is one component under the umbrella of our Pathways to Ministry program. And Your Call is a vocational discernment program that high school students engage in that helps them understand more about their faith and the work of the church and what they're going to do vocationally, whether that turns out to be being a pastor or being a banker or a teacher or a lawyer or whatever. It's a great program that falls within this whole concept of helping the church be a teaching church. And today is a day in which we want to draw attention particularly to the Pastoral Residency component of the Pathways to Ministry program. It just so happens a number of things are lining up today. We have two residents preaching today. Matthew preached at the 8:30 service, and Eric is preaching in this service. And then all the way up in New England today, Brent Newberry is being installed as the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Worcester, Massachusetts, and we're excited about that. Then also in your tapestry today, you'll see the announcement of our next class of pastoral residents who will start in August, and we're very excited about that. And then this week, we received the first installment of the gift from the Ball Foundation, $250,000, the first of four gifts that will total $1 million to help with the operating expense of our Pathways to Ministry program. There's a lot of excitement around all of this, and you can be part of that today because in the hallway out this door between the library and the church office, would you please stop by after the service if you haven't already? We have giant greeting cards on the wall that are for each of our Pastoral Residency alumni. And you can write a personal message to them that will go along with others, and we'll put those in the mail as an encouragement to them this week. Do you know that we've had 26 men and women through this program since its inception? 24 of those 26 have served right here with us at Wilshire. 2 of those have served under our direction in some other locations. It's a wonderful heritage that we have, and our Your Call students are going to give us an update this morning, just a brief update on each one of these so that you could be inspired maybe to know something more about them in the current moment, but also it might give you something to write a note when you go out to the cards.
Jay Hogwood is a pastor at St. John's United Methodist Church in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In February, St. John's was given final approval to begin renovation of their sanctuary, which will include a new walkway extension and narthex.
Ann Bell Worley is a writer and speaker in Houston, Texas. Ann has recently completed her first children's book, Saturday Surprise. It will be published later this month.
Jake Hall is pastor at Highland Hills Baptist Church in Macon, Georgia. Jake is enjoying the camaraderie with fellow Wilshire resident alum Scott Dickinson. They had a pulpit exchange in January, and both congregations enjoyed the experience.
Andrew Doherty is executive pastor at Calvary Baptist Church in Denver, Colorado, where he works with former pastoral resident Ann Jernberg Scalfaro. He and Ann have a book forthcoming this year that is a homiletical commentary published by Smith & Helwes on the book of Hebrews. Andrew delights in his 2 children, 7 and 4, who help remind him daily how family is a parable of the kingdom of God.
David King is director of the Lake Institute of Faith and Giving and an assistant professor of philanthropic and religious studies in the Lilly Family School of Philanthropy at IUPUI in Indianapolis, Indiana. Last month, the Philanthropy Connector named David as one of the 2016's top 25 most influential philanthropy experts.
Sean Allen is pastor at Greystone Baptist Church in Raleigh, North Carolina. Sean baptized his oldest daughter, Avery, on Easter Sunday.
Amy Grizzle Kane is minister to adults and outreach at South Main Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. Amy and her husband, Sean, are expecting baby boy number 2 in June.
Brad Jernberg is Minister of Administration at South Main Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. Brad and his wife, Margaret, just welcomed their second child, Jack, who was born this past Monday.
Ryan Heritage is worship and music pastor at Trinity Baptist Church in Cordova, Tennessee. He and his wife, Lindsay, are excited to be welcoming their third daughter.
Ann Jernberg Scalfaro is pastor at Calvary Baptist Church in Denver, Colorado. Ann and her husband Damon are enjoying many remodeling projects around their house. Calvary just finished their sacred space renewal renovation project and new organ installation in the sanctuary.
Jason Edwards is pastor at Second Baptist Church in Liberty, Missouri. Jason said that Second Baptist's current ministry plan is to become a church of radical hospitality, which includes having a greater emphasis on ministry in the local community.
Julie Merritt Lee is pastor at Providence Baptist Church in Hendersonville, North Carolina. Julie and her husband, Michael, welcomed their second child 4 months ago. Julie said that Providence has outgrown their building and they are looking at what to do next.
Matt Marston is senior pastor at Trinity Baptist Church in Moultrie, Georgia. Matt is currently on a trip to Holy Land. Today he will be in Caesarea and Bethlehem.
DJ Reed is pastor at Chilson Hills Baptist Church in Brighton, Michigan. DJ and his church are in a discernment process as to their role in helping the homeless community in the community near the church.
Tasha Gibson is assistant to the executive director at Baptist News Global in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Tasha is currently training to be a docent at local art museum.
Gannon Sims is assistant coordinator of Fresh Expressions of the Baptist General Association of Virginia. Gannon and his wife Carrie are Baptist collegiate ministers at the University of Mary Washington in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Gannon has been very busy this weekend helping host and facilitate the National Gathering Conference of Fresh Expressions with the theme of being the church, at home, and everywhere in between.
Scott Dickinson is a pastor at First Baptist Church of Christ in Macon, Georgia. Scott is writing a monthly column for Baptist News Global, taught an intro to New Testament class in the Christianity department at Mercer University last fall, and has been a panelist on 2 different discussions of interfaith dialogue at Mercer.
Garrett Vickery is pastor at Woodland Baptist Church in San Antonio, Texas. Woodland has started a second worship service on Sunday mornings. Garrett will be starting the Doctor of Ministry program at Truett Seminary this fall.
John J. Alvaro is pastor at Spring Creek Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. John J. recently celebrated his 2-year anniversary at Spring Creek. His wife, Corey, is attending the University of Central Oklahoma, majoring in art.
Annette Thornburg Owen is co-pastor at Church in the Cliff in Dallas, Texas, as well as a hospice chaplain with Accord Hospice Care. She is in the process of becoming a CASA volunteer, which is a court-appointed special advocate for children.
Austin Amagur is senior pastor at Vienna Baptist Church in Vienna, Virginia. Austin and his wife, Allison, just purchased their first house located in Arlington, Virginia.
Samuel Gunter is Director of Policy and Advocacy at North Carolina Housing Coalition in Durham, North Carolina. Samuel and his wife, Isela, welcomed their first child in January.
Britt Carlson is the interim pastor at Community Church of Issaquah in Issaquah, Washington. Britt recently received a vocational friendship grant from the Forum for Theological Exploration that she will use this summer in Hawaii.
Brent Newberry is pastor at First Baptist Church in Worcester, Massachusetts. Today is the installation service for Brent at his church. Chad and Heather Mustaine are there today as representatives from Wilshire.
Well, don't you feel like you've just had a compressed family reunion? And here's an interesting note. Each of the students, Julie and Rebecca and Carson, who are standing here, who've made this presentation, were preschoolers in this church when this program began. And as you see them growing, think about all of our resident alumni and the growth that's happening in their lives and the missionary work that they are doing as an extension of your love across the country. I hope you'll pay attention to the center spread of today's tapestry. There is a map that shows all of our resident alumni and where they currently serve, and it shows their photos. this will be a great thing to hang on to and maybe use as a prayer guide as you want to remember to pray for the blessing of God upon the work of these alumni, these children of ours that we've sent out. And there's also a nice little reminder there that when you give to the George A. Mason Pathways to Ministry Endowment, you are underwriting the future of this remarkable program that allows us to feel so much pride and celebrate together the work of God in our world. Thank you, Wilshire, for being a teaching congregation.